Crisis line, how may I help you? I don't know what to do. It's getting really, really bad.
He fights or hits me when he's drunk.
I want to leave, but I don't know what to do or where to start.
Anyone speak Hmong? My husband kicking me out the house and bring his new wife home.
He told me he was going to take my kids away from me.
I need help. I got your number from a friend.
I'm scared for my life. Please, help.
I met him in India. There was a family who knew my father, and they came to my parents and told them that there is a guy who might be a good match for you. Like, he has a good property, he's a US citizen. You are supposed to obey your parents in that culture. But I didn't know him, which is not a good thing about the Indian culture. And the marriage didn't came out good too. So when I got married, the first thing he did, he didn't apply for me to come to US. He didn't want it to because he was living with somebody else. He would always, talking on the phone, not in front of me. When somebody would call him, he would go away and talk on the phone like for a couple of hours every day. And then I would think that there is somebody and he doesn't want to talk about her. And then he would hit me, slap me, he would pull my hair. When I would ask who was on the phone, then he would lie. And one day I asked him, let me get the number, let me found who she is. Then he started fighting and stuff. So he was a heavy drunkard, and it was all everyday thing, like fighting. So when I came to US, and he made me live in that lady's house for 9 months. And one day, when my baby was like 8 weeks, he pushed me and he threw me on the bed after pushing. And then that day I thought that it's too much. And then I came out of the house. Then I was sitting in front of the Bel Air, and there was a lady who asked me that why you are crying. I was crying. And then I called the police. This was the first time when I called the police. But like, the police advised him not to do all these things. And the second time when he started fighting again, slapping and everything, then I talked to a neighbor of mine and she called the police, and then the police sent me to the shelter. That's how I got help. Otherwise, when I was in India, he would fight with me. He would usually say that stop asking questions, otherwise you are not going to go to US. You are not going to get your green card. So it happened a lot of times. Actually, whenever there were fightings, one day I said that I'm gonna call the police, and he said that if you are gonna call the police, you will be on the roads. Who will bring you food? Who will buy you diapers? You will be on the roads, you and the baby. So he would threaten me. And then when I talked to the neighbor, she told me about that there is help, there are shelters, and that's how you can start your life. So she said that if you are not gonna do anything, I am gonna call the police. Then she called the police, and I came into the shelter. It was a very big thing to me, actually. That's why it took me a long time to be out of that house, to be out of the hands of that man. Because I was thinking from a long time that I don't want to be with a group of people where you are not treated good, like as I was, told about the shelters. So when I actually went there, so it was like a family. They celebrate our festivals. They ask us that how do you celebrate your festivals? Then they provide us with the things. They give us clothes, food, shelter, and it was like a family. And to be honest with you, when I left the shelter, people are afraid of going to the shelters, but I was like, I was not ready to leave the shelter. And I asked them that if I can stay there for a couple of more months. Shelter is the place where I started my life. Today, like, I have my driving license, I have my car, I have my place. That is all because of shelter. Like, I got my green card, which is the most important thing. I got my green card at the shelter. I got shelter, food. I got immigration services, so they helped me with the attorneys who would accompany us to the courts. My message to all the women who are in domestic violence, that they should go to a safe place so their children wouldn't watch all that domestic violence stuff. And they should be self-dependent. Like, when you are dependent on somebody, so you are puppets at their hands. Like, they want you to do the things like they want. So being self-dependent is a very good thing. So shelter is the place where I started to live life like a real woman, where I realized that I should forget my past, I should move on, and I started living my life as a real woman. ਮੇਰਾ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹੋ ਸੁਨੇਹਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸ਼ੈਲਟਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਵਿਕਟਮਸ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੈਲਟਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਫੂਡ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਕੱਪੜੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉੱਚਾ ਉੱਠਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਦਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਉਹ ਸ਼ੈਲਟਰਸ ਤੋਂ ਡਰਨ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਸੇਫ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਘਰੇਲੂ ਹਿੰਸਾ ਤੋਂ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ।
As a human being, you have many rights. You have a right to be considered a mature adult, and you have the right to have your needs be of equal importance to the needs of others. You also have the right to make mistakes and be responsible for them. You have the right to make your own decisions and to say no without feeling guilty. You have the right to express your opinions and to feel and express anger as well as other emotions as long as you do not hurt others. You have the right to be listened to and to be treated with dignity and respect. You have the right to change and grow and to say, I don't know, or I don't understand. You have the right to be in a non-abusive relationship, and you have the right to ask for help.
I didn't actually really know him. I was told that he was a good man. And at that time, I was still young. I didn't know what a good relationship was. I never had one before. So I was told that my husband, he was a good man and that he will love me. He came to meet me and I met him. It was like a week later that we got married. It was like a quick marriage. I wasn't like expecting that to happen. And at that time, I wasn't ready for marriage, but I felt that in my life, I needed someone to love me for who I am. Every day when I was in the house, like, he always trying to find something to like abuse me with. Like, I can't even be on the phone. When I said I wanted to continue to go back to school, he would tell me that I can't do it because I'm not that person to do that anymore. So things change after day. It continues on until I have my first children. And I thought he were gonna be changed, but he never changed. I wasn't allowed to talk to anybody. Even my family, my mom, my sister, my family members, I wasn't allowed to talk to them. He's accusing that I'm talking to my boyfriend and all of that. From the beginning, he has always threatened that if one day he found out that I had a boyfriend, then he will find me and kill me. So I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. And I just thought to myself, like, he's not that kind of person, but why is he doing that? So he's really showing me that he's controlling. He tried to find all these things to accuse me with. So I was afraid every day. I didn't know what to do. Like I was frightened all the time. I was abused in the way he talked to me. Like he yelled, he screamed. He threw the phone at me, and when I asked him why he's doing that, like he's constantly doing that. Like there's not a day that he will try to say something nice to me. He didn't allow me to work. I asked to go find a job. I have to ask him to like make my own decision. I can't make my own decision. He didn't want me to work. When I said I wanted to work, he said he's not gonna let me work because if I work, then I'm gonna have another boyfriend. So I can't work. I need to stay home to clean, to cook for him. And he even said the reason why he married me is to be his slave. I tried to go to my parents' house to seek help, but they always asked me to go back to fix the marriage, and it was like an ongoing back and forth for me because of my situation. I tried to have somebody in my family to fix the problem, but nobody was never there. So I started to seek help. I ran away because of the domestic violence in my home. I received help from the shelter. They helped me with my situation and with my children. I was expecting to have like an emergency shelter, food, clothes, and all of that. I received all of that in one day. I received legal assistance, and they prepared me to work. They helped me find jobs. They helped me get back into college. I was able to get back on my feet. I received a lot of help from the shelter. I feel great. I feel like I become a better person. I don't feel stressed anymore. I feel strong. I was able to do a lot of things than I can do before I moved to the shelter and moved out of the shelter. I will encourage that any women out there that are being abused by their abuser, to not be afraid to hide your feelings. Do not be afraid to suffer. There is help out there that you can receive help. Mỗi cái như sẽ rồi từ này từ gì là gì này từ này luôn na này chỉ luôn này na sa cái này cho sai thì nhiều chỉ mỗi cái ba nhau sáng đầu ấy nhiều ba này na rồi thì này cho cái chỉ rõ là những mua họ chơi rồi nóตัวเราเขาเลยกี่เลยมาดีป้าในจิตสัญชัยเบียเดียว่าขอโปรแกรมตรงนี้นอนในป้าในเทียในอยู่ป้าตอนในมูลยาตอนได้เทียในอยู่จิตสัญญาเทียในจะมีตัวมีหย่อนลอยยิ่งอยู่จิตสัญญาอย่างนี้
From my experience working with the victim of domestic violence, there's a series of abuse that they experience. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial, verbal intimidation. And a lot of these abuses, most of them that they don't recognize immigration. Anyone can identify physical. The physical form is visual, is from hitting, pushing, kicking, biting, tickling, using weapon. A lot of times when it comes with emotional abuse, they come in as, I don't feel comfortable, I feel sad, I feel depressed, I don't know what to do, but I've never been hit. These are a form of abuse as well. When someone's controlling you by what you can do, what to do, what not to do, who to see, what to wear, these are emotional abuse. Putting you down, calling you name, calling you fat, calling you ugly, stupid, not worth it. These are verbal abuse. Also, sexual abuse, when someone forces you to have sex when you don't feel like it, or you force you to attempt to do sex acts that doesn't feel comfortable. These are sexual abuse. Financial abuse, when someone controls you from what to spend, what to buy, and not giving you allowed to buy the things that you need to buy, only give you money to pay bills. Also, immigration is another one. A lot of times they use that status of deportations, holding their green card over their head. If you don't do what I say, I will deport you. I will never follow through with the paperwork. Also, with this area comes with intimidation. Intimidation is a form of raising their voice, putting fists through walls, punching the hold, and handling guns or weapon in front of the victim. From my experience, that clients that come in to seek help, they minimize their abuse, that nothing serious, we can handle it, or what have you. But a lot of times they hide a lot of things. What they tell us is just the tip of iceberg. There's a lot of control going on, not only the physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse by the batter, by the husband, also by the family. So I encourage you that whatever the community and the family told you about the stigma, about the agency, that we're breaking in the family, what have you, they are safe to come here. We give you a safe haven, give you support, give you some, build up some self-esteem, educations, and how to self-care. Please encourage anyone that you know out there to come and get help. A lot of time when the first time that they come in, they feel scared and afraid. They don't speak English. They feel that nobody will understand them, the other person that doesn't speak their language. When they started to come and meet with the counselors, and the counseling, meet with them, talk to them one-on-one, give them the support, help them to overcome their fear, and give them a hope, and give them support and empower them to make the right choice and decision for her and her children. And when they're in this shelter for a couple of months, they understand their rights, what they can and cannot do, and this gives them, build their self-esteem so that they can be a good mom and give some support to their children, and then they can break the cycle of violence. Dr. Lenore Walker discovered that in every domestic violence relationship comes with the cycle of violence, and cycle of violence comes with 3 phases: tension building phase, violent episode, and honeymoon stage. The tension building phase is when the perpetrator come home from work, he has a bad experience from his boss, or some road rage. Regardless whatever it is that he experienced, he's angry, and he's gonna pick on her. And she feels this is coming, so she's gonna be walking eggshell, the victim. She's gonna try to stop it. Regardless what she do or didn't do, it's not going to stop this, because his outburst is accumulated and then leads to the violent episode. The violent episode is where it's dangerous. The victim may try to protect herself, he may even get hurt, or the victim try to protect herself and he gets so angry and outraged and he will hurt her. And the violent episode it's like you're shaking a beer bottle and open it, because he's gonna burst, someone's gonna get hurt. Whether he's gonna hit her, kill her, choke her, or throw her, or call her name. That come along with, it's over in the minute. Before you know it, the honeymoon stage will start. The honeymoon stage comes with apologetic from the perpetrator. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I was drunk, I was angry. Blame other than himself. And she feels relief that it's over. Minimize the situation, and also feel that this is relief, everything gonna be happy. He's apologized, hope comes along that we're gonna be okay. He tells her that he's gonna get help. He tells her that it wasn't him. So she believed him and she have hope. But this cycle continue, and before you know it, the honeymoon stage will disappear. Will only be tension, and then episode, violent episode. And before you know it, there's no tension, just violent episode. These are cycle of violence. If you or your family or loved one experience this type of abuse, please contact our shelter or national hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE. Your name is Teng Ming, Hu De Pei, Sanchai.
I'm Dr. Richard Pan. As a physician, I take care of children whose parents have sometimes suffered from domestic violence or abuse. And often, they don't want to talk about it. But it's not okay to be abused. It's not your fault. You are not alone. There is help. Call your local agency.